So I fell in love with Crew 2, and I was like, well, this is freaking awesome. And I kept, people kept popping in. Most of my followers came from me playing Crew 2. Not that I have a lot of followers, but they almost all came from watching me play Crew 2. I didn't have any followers before I started playing Crew 2. So people come in and I talk about how I love this game and I can't wait to try Motorfest. And every single one of them said, "Oh, you're gonna hate Motorfest. You're gonna fucking hate it. It's garbage. It's nothing like this game. Blah blah blah." And at first I was like, I don't really trust what these guys are saying. It probably, it's a little different than this one, so they don't like it. They changed something, and how dare they make a change to a game that I love? And they're just bitching and moaning. So I didn't really take it too seriously. And then finally, when I got to about 100 cars or so in my collection, I was like, all right, I think I've got enough cars here. I'm going to try out Motorfest. So I popped on Motorfest. I saw it import all my cars over from the Crew 2 save file. I was like, all right, and I started playing it, and I immediately ate my words. It was awful. Um, it just and it was bad in a way that even if I had played Motorfest first without playing Crew 2, I still would have hated it. The first thing that struck me was the unbelievably drawn out, self congratulatory, just pretentious ass fucking intro and the ridiculous NPCs in it. And it just. And I recognized one of the characters in the intro, Malu, as I guess the PR girl for fucking the Motorfest event. As in the Crew 2, there's a story you can do, and you end up you following a bunch of notes left behind by Malu, and eventually leads you to her car. And her car is it's a joke. I mean, it is hideously ugly. It's a really stupid fucking car. It's this baby blue color with white rims up front and pink rims in the back and it's just such a stupid fucking car. I was like, okay. And then also going by the, her voice in the notes that you're following around to solve her story. I was like, okay, yeah, this girl or whoever it is, right, that that drives this car, she's definitely not one of my people. And I recognized her in the intro to Motorfest, and sure as shit, she's every bit as pretentious and obnoxious as I imagined she would be, based on her notes and her hideous car from the first game. So I immediately hated her, and kept getting worse. All the characters, even when you go to pick your own characters, like 9 different characters to pick from, and they're all practically identical. They're all like TikTok influencers. They're all like 20 years old. They look like they've never been held accountable for anything in their life. They're, sitting there with this attitude like, oh, I'm super special, and I have 50,000 followers. You need to give me my hotel room for free. Those kind of people. There wasn't a single, like nuts and bolts grease monkey who really knows cars in there. It was all kids clearly driving around on daddy's money. So I couldn't get into any of the characters that you had to pick for yourself. I picked the least offensive one. Picked all that, and then got into actually playing the game. And first thing that struck me is you start playing these playlists. You have to play these playlists. You play them in the order that they want you to play them in, and you have to use the car they tell you to use, whether you have it or not. Even if they tell you, okay, this race has to be done in this car. If I had that car brought over from Crew 2, I still couldn't use my car. I had to use the piece of shit that they gave me. That pissed me off right from the get go. And then as I'm playing these damn races, I'm already pissed off because I have to use what car they tell me to do the races they want me to do. And then the whole time I'm trying to race, and then these NPC characters or these hosts for the playlist are just will not shut up. Just constantly talking, patting themselves on the back, and just blowing the manufacturer of the car and everything. Especially oh god, the American Muscle playlist is not. Shouldn't be able to call it American Muscle because it's not. That's not a bunch of American muscle cars. It's nothing but fucking Mustangs, and the whole goddamn time they're just bloviating on about how amazing are Mustangs. Mustang's a great car. Oh, it's a fantastic car, and just drove me up the freaking wall. Especially since I don't really care for Mustangs that much. They're great in straight line, but that's about it. Fucking drove me up a fucking wall trying to listen to these damn characters. Finally, after a few times playing the game, I figured out I go in the options and you can mute the voices. And I muted all the voices, and immediately I was like, okay, this is at least playable now. And so not having to listen to these ridiculous NPCs and these obnoxious YouTube, TikTok hosts that they brought in here, the self-congratulatory pieces of crap. It made it so much better muting out the voices. So if you're ever going to play Motorfest, first thing I recommend you do is go into the options and mute the voices. It'll be so much easier to enjoy. So I'm playing along, and I'm still not digging the fact that I have to do these playlists. I have to use the cars they tell me to use, and especially got to a playlist where I had to buy a car to unlock the playlist. So I bought the car to unlock the playlist, and I couldn't use the car they made me buy. I was so aggravated, absolutely ridiculous. But then I eventually found out that once you finish the playlist doing it their way, then there's literally hundreds of other races in that playlist that you can do for the most part with any car and any vehicle you want to do. And you get actual prizes. It's not like, oh, well, yeah, I finished the playlist, now you can do it, however you want. Well, who gives a shit? I've already finished the playlist. Yeah, it's not like that, actually. There's actual things to win in the playlist by doing it the way you want to do it. So that, I was like, okay, that's actually pretty cool. I can live with that. I can live with playing through the playlists their way and then unlocking this whole world of new races and events that I could do. So I was like, okay, that's not so bad. And then I found out about the rivals. These guys here, which I was like, okay, this reminds me of Burnout Paradise. This sounds pretty freaking cool. And I had to get the year one pass to do it. And it just so happened it was on sale that week. It was like $10. I was like, all right, I'll get the year one pass. Fuck it. I'm running out of things to do in Crew 2. Let's go ahead and do it. I'll spend $10. And turns out I really enjoy doing these rival races, these rival chases. So that turned out to be pretty cool. And then I go to play it again. I go a long time in between sessions on this game because it's not my favorite racing game. And I popped it on the day before yesterday, I think, and it was down for maintenance. I'm like, okay, so I wonder what they're going to do with the maintenance. What are they adding? Because this game's not dead in the water like Crew 2 is. Crew 2 has maintenance. It's literally just maintenance. Sometimes they're taking things away. They're not adding new content to Crew 2. That game's dead in the water. I'm really surprised the server's still up and running. But this game still actively being serviced. So I was like, okay. So the next day, I pop it on to see what's new, and it turns out it's this Ferrari history thing, and a whole museum for Ferrari added to the game, and as well as all these events and races and everything. I'm like, and I really like Ferraris, especially the old school ones like the Magnum PI. I like Ferraris. A lot of guys are Lamborghini guys. I'm a Ferrari guy. Lamborghinis are look at me mobiles. Ferraris are cars for people who actually really like to drive. At least that's my take on it. Not that I'll ever afford either one of them, but still. So I really like Ferraris. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this. And turns out the year 2 pass was on sale, and on top of that, I'm running out of things to spend CC points on in Crew 2. And I've got an addiction to vanity items, and I'm running out of vanity items to buy in Crew 2. Even in the summits, the prizes for the summits are vanity items I already own. So I'm running out of shit to spend money on in Crew 2. So I didn't have to spend any money on Crew 2 this week, so I had a little bit of extra money burning a hole in my pocket, the stuff I was going to buy more CC points with. So after I bought the year 2 pass, I went ahead and I bought a $20 pack of CC points for this game. And I think I might possibly be getting started to actually find a way to stop shitting on this game which, believe me, there's plenty to shit on in this game. But I think I'm able to finally get past that, and I think I've found a way to actually enjoy this game a little bit. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get started on the Ferrari playlist right now, and when I get through this, I'll probably have to go to work. But then after I come back from work, I will probably go ahead and buy a couple cars that I'll need, and I'll take part in the summit this week, which is all about Ferraris.
Ooh.